Jenna and Tom had always been a picture-perfect couple, young, in love, and ready to start their new life together. Jenna, a charming schoolteacher with a deep love for vintage books, had met Tom, a successful but slightly introverted photographer, during a trip abroad. Their connection was instant. Tom's quiet, reserved nature perfectly balanced out Jenna's energetic, adventurous spirit. They had been engaged for over a year, saving up for their dream wedding and planning the perfect honeymoon. Jenna's dream was to escape to a romantic, secluded villa where they could unwind and start their married life in peace. Tom, always keen on surprising Jenna, secretly booked a beautiful villa he found online, the Elysium Estate, an exquisite yet mysteriously secluded property that was known for its breathtaking views and historical charm. After a long day of travel and the excitement of their wedding, Jenna and Tom are eager to unwind in the vast, luxurious master suite. The room is gorgeous, with a grand four-poster bed draped in thick velvet curtains, a fireplace crackling with warmth, and antique furniture that hints at the villa's rich history. But as Jenna unpacks her suitcase, she notices something strange. There's an old portrait hanging on the wall across from the bed. It's a painting of a woman, elegantly dressed in an old-fashioned gown, staring straight at them. Her expression is blank, but there's something unnerving about her eyes. They seem to follow them around the room. "That's kind of creepy," Jenna says, laughing nervously as she notices Tom eyeing the portrait. "I guess it's just part of the villa's charm," Tom replies, though he can't shake the feeling that something isn't quite right. Still, he tries to brush it off and suggests they relax with a glass of wine by the fire. The villa has an undeniable, almost eerie beauty, but he's hoping that after a good night's sleep, everything will feel more comfortable. As they sit down to enjoy their wine, the atmosphere becomes tense, strangely cold, even though the fire is roaring. The air feels thick, almost suffocating, as if the house is pressing in on them. Jenna pulls her sweater tighter around her shoulders. "I thought it was supposed to be warmer here," she says, her voice faint. "It feels like the temperature keeps dropping." Tom glances over at the windows, which are tightly shut, and then at the heavy curtains. "Must be the old windows, letting in drafts," he suggests, but there's a trace of doubt in his voice. It doesn't quite explain the chills running down his spine. They decide to go to bed early, hoping the strange sensations will pass. But as they lie down under the covers, something feels off. The bed creaks ominously under their weight, a sound that echoes through the room far louder than it should. Jenna glances at Tom, who's staring at the ceiling, his brow furrowed. "Did you hear that?" Jenna whispers, her voice shaky. She swears she heard something, a soft tapping noise, almost like fingernails against wood, coming from the hallway outside the room. Tom holds his breath, straining to listen. The sound stops. "It's probably just the house settling," he says, but there's an unconvincing tremor in his voice. Jenna doesn't respond, her eyes flicking nervously toward the door. Her thoughts are racing. Something feels wrong here, but she can't quite put her finger on it. They both try to sleep, but neither of them can drift off. The air seems heavier with each passing minute. Then, just as Jenna starts to nod off, she hears it, a faint whisper, like a soft murmur coming from just beyond the door. At first, she thinks it's Tom, but when she turns to him, she sees that he's wide awake, his eyes filled with confusion. "Did you hear that?" Jenna asks, her voice trembling. Tom nods slowly, his face pale. "I did. It came from outside the room." They sit up, straining to hear. The whispers are faint at first, like a soft conversation just out of reach, but then they grow louder, more distinct. It's a voice, a woman's voice, speaking in a language neither of them recognizes. The words are garbled and broken, but there's a certain sense of urgency, as if the voice is trying to communicate something important or something dangerous. The whispers seem to come from the hallway, then shift to another part of the house, growing fainter as if moving away from them, only to return again, this time closer. Tom! Jenna gasps, her heart pounding in her chest. What is that? What's happening? Tom stands up, shaking. I don't know, but we should check it out. They cautiously step out of bed, the cold floor sending a shiver up their spines. The door creaks loudly as they slowly open it. The hallway is bathed in moonlight, casting long shadows on the walls. The air is freezing now, and the soft murmur of whispers fills the space, but the source is impossible to pinpoint. Suddenly, a loud bang echoes from one of the nearby rooms, a heavy door slamming shut. Both of them jump, their hearts racing. The whispers stop abruptly. What was that? Jenna whispers, grabbing Tom's arm in fear. Tom's face is pale, his hand trembling as he grips her wrist. I don't know, but I think we should leave. Just as they turn to run back to their room, they hear it again, the whisper, but now it's not a language they don't understand. The voice is clear, cold, and unmistakably menacing. You cannot leave. The words send a jolt of terror through their bodies. The temperature drops even further, and the faint whispering grows into a chorus of voices, all speaking at once, filling the hallway with unintelligible murmurs. The walls begin to feel like they're closing in on them, as if the very house itself is alive. Suddenly, the portrait of the woman, the same one from the bedroom, appears in the hallway, its eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. And then, in a horrifying flash, the woman's face begins to change. Her expression shifts from serene to something dark, twisted, and cruel. Her lips curl into a slow, sinister smile, and then she begins to move. Her painted figure seems to come alive, her eyes following them with malevolent intent. In a panic, Tom grabs Jenna's hand, pulling her toward the stairs. We need to get out of here now. But as they rush down the stairs, they realize the front door, the only exit, has disappeared. In its place, a massive, ancient-looking door appears, one they hadn't seen before, adorned with strange symbols that glow faintly in the dark. The whispers grow louder. The air becomes thick with an oppressive pressure that suffocates their every movement. The walls pulse, as if the house itself is breathing, watching, waiting. A sudden realization strikes them both. The villa isn't just haunted, it's alive, and it has no intention of letting them go. As they try to turn back, the figure of the woman appears at the top of the stairs, no longer a painting but a physical, ghostly form. Her pale face twisted in a grotesque expression. Her voice fills the air, louder than ever. You are mine now, forever. Jenna and Tom turn and run, desperate for any escape. But the house seems to shift, twisting into endless corridors. With every turn, they're met by dark figures, voices from the past, all of them whispering the same chilling phrase, "You cannot leave." They begin to lose track of time, unable to tell where they are. The villa has consumed them, and they are trapped in its nightmare forever. The next morning, a caretaker finds the villa abandoned, the front door wide open. But inside, there's no sign of Jenna and Tom, only a trail of cold air leading into the forgotten corners of the house. The whispers are gone, but the presence of something malevolent still lingers. The Elysium estate remains untouched, its history buried in dark shadows, waiting for the next couple to book their stay.